Today, we will be performing a complete Diesel Force EGR cleaning service on this 2020 Peterbilt. This vehicle is showing 117,000 miles on the odometer and serves as a local delivery truck, which subjects the PACCAR PX9 engine to strenuous stop-and-go operation. The first part of any Diesel Force service should always be a detailed inspection of the vehicle to familiarize the mechanic with any abnormalities that may be present. This includes a physical inspection of the engine, as well as connecting a scan tool to read and document engine parameters and any fault codes which may be present. As we can see here, this vehicle is free of faults and ready to be serviced. After inspection is complete, remove the crossover tube to gain access to the engine intake and exhaust systems. An engine inspection scope can be utilized to view the current condition of the EGR cooler, EGR valve, and various other components depending on the engine model being serviced. Next, attach the appropriate Diesel Force engine adapters to the ports where the crossover tube has been removed. Blue adapter on the intake side, and black adapter on the exhaust side. Attach service hoses from the Diesel Force emission system tool to the engine adapters. Blue hose to blue adapter, black hose to black adapter. Once the engine adapters have been installed, attach the Diesel Force engine controller to the EGR valve and variable geometry turbo. Power on the controller and launch the application to begin automatic actuation of the EGR valve and VGT. This allows for an effective cleaning of all surfaces within these components. Add the appropriate amount of Diesel Force Ultimate 11 fuel treatment and Diesel Force injector cleaner to the fuel tank, and Diesel Force Eliminator to the Diesel Force emission system tool. Eliminator is the primary component of the service and will break down coolant and oil residue within the engine and exhaust system. Start the vehicle and ensure that the engine is running normally. Attach shop air to the emission system tool, engage the shop air switch, and use the adjustment knob to properly pressurize the machine. Engage the intake and exhaust switches to begin the Diesel Force emission system cleaning. Always ensure that product is flowing through the clear inspection portion of the hoses. When the product is flowing normally, engage the intake high flow and exhaust high flow switches. When the flow of the product stops and hoses begin to run clear, pause the emission system cleaning by disengaging all switches and disconnecting shop air to depressurize the emission system tool. Add Diesel Force EGR and induction system cleaner to the emission system tool. The EGR and induction system cleaner will flush away residue, allowing it to be safely burnt off during regeneration. Reconnect shop air and restart the emission system cleaning. Be sure to once again monitor the flow of the product. While the emission system cleaning is running, take this opportunity to inspect the exhaust system for potential leaks by looking for dripping or wet spots. During this stage of the cleaning, it is normal for the vehicle to generate a large amount of steam. When the emission system tool's fluid level reaches 1/4 gallon, pause the emission system cleaning by disengaging all switches and disconnecting shop air. Disconnect hoses from engine adapters and then remove intake and exhaust adapters from the engine. Remove the differential pressure sensor and attach differential pressure sensor adapter. Reattach the crossover tube, disconnect the Diesel Force engine controller, and reconnect the EGR valve and VGT cabling. Attach both hoses from the emission system tool to the differential pressure sensor adapter. Connect shop air to the tool and restart the emission system cleaning. This stage of the service will ensure that the differential pressure sensor ports are clean and cleared of all debris. When lines run clear, stop the service by disengaging all switches and disconnecting shop air. Disconnect hoses from the differential pressure sensor adapter, remove the adapter, and reinstall the differential pressure sensor. At this point, the diesel force emission system cleaning has been completed, and the vehicle is ready to undergo manual regeneration to safely and cleanly burn off all particulate collected in the diesel particulate filter, or DPF. Move the vehicle outside, initiate manual regeneration, and allow the process to complete before continuing. Once regeneration is completed and the engine has adequately cooled, add Diesel Force Synthetic Oil System Cleaner to the used oil. Run the engine for 15 minutes and then perform a full oil change. The Diesel Force service is now complete. Utilizing an engine inspection scope once more, you can see firsthand the performance of the Diesel Force emission system cleaning. Surfaces which were previously dull and caked with soot have now been scrubbed clean and are shining like new. Thank you for choosing Diesel Force.